is why. Because I was a very nosy child, always want to know stuff. I love other people's business. And luckily, history is the most respectable way to always want to get into other people's stuff. And my parents had put me in front of a bookshelf from a very young age. And I read a lot of books, I read a lot of stories, I read a lot of texts. And I learned so much about the world, about the past. But there was always this perception I had growing up that I come from like a really dark continent. It's a place that doesn't have a history, there's no memory, there's no records, there's no archives. And what I've learned is that sort of perception comes from the fact that we're not holding all this history in giant museums, in paperback books, in some scary cathedral, my hair. Right? And there's one artist who says that cloth is to Africans what monuments are to Westerners. That actually, that history that I'm looking for, those memories, those beliefs, those traditions, language, our gods, are all held in the things that we wear every day. And we don't actually always realize that one of the things we have in common with the people before us is the act of getting dressed every single day. In the ways that we weave fabric, and that we embroider, and that we weave, that we stitch, we carry so much of our economies, our societal structures, our cultures, how we communicate with each other, how we see ourselves, how we see ourselves. And I know history in particular for African people can be very scary, can be quite painful. It's full of so much oppression. We have slavery, colonialism, apartheid. I'm not telling you all of this, of course. But through fashion history specifically, I've really found a way to look at my ancestors, the people who had to live through these unimaginable, inhumane conditions. I found ways that they were rebellious, they were resistant, that they found joy, and that they could be creative and innovative. Like a recent project I was working on was about free black women in the 18th century in the Dutch Cape Colony, who were so well-dressed that they actually had to put laws in place to keep them from certain fabrics, from certain kinds of jewelry. They weren't even allowed to wear like fake beads in their hair or in their ears, right? Because they were so beautiful and they looked amazing. And I think that was so enriching to me that these women probably lived in some of the worst conditions ever, but they still found some form of like creativity and joy in the ways they were putting themselves together. And that they lived in a society that punished them for existing, and they would still choose to exert their beauty. And that beauty could be a form of rebellion, that beauty can be a way to revolt, and it can be a way to fight back against the situation. And the really empowering thing is also that we all get dressed every day. And we might not all be like people in history. We might not lead an underground railway. We might not start a revolution or sink a boat. But we can all get dressed every single morning. We can all put something together, and in our own way, we are connecting with the people before us. We are fighting against the things that we do not agree with. We are changing our perspective. We are literally fashioning how we want to be seen. And that, to me, has always made fashion history really powerful. And it's something that I hope everyone will think about the next time you're getting dressed, that the next time you're putting something on, is that in a very small way you are connecting with the people who made your clothes. They have some sort of effect on you, or the people that they've learned from. That's a history that's passed on, and it's a living history, in fact, actually, right? The cloth that we have, the way that we stitch, these things are so old, and they're done with so much care and compassion, and we get to embody that every single day. And I just think that's really fascinating. So I like to go on, I spend like 100 hours at a time beading and embroidering things and getting to learn about stuff. And my final point is, so this dress, this is a Zonga batik fabric. And I made this trying to connect with my ancestors. And this cotton is a big part of our traditional ethnic dress, but no one ever actually really knows where it's from, how that appeared. And through a lot of reading, I learned that this was a style of printing in Indonesia that came to South Africa during Dutch colonization or through Swiss missionaries. And my ancestors took the designs that they would put on the outside of their homes, that they were doing on their walls, and they put it on this fabric. And today, it's a really big part of our cultural pride. It's a part of how we look. And when I undertook this project, it's been a really long time looking up mythology, folklore. I took elements from my grandmother's house and the indigenous plants around us, and I got to put all of this onto the strips. And one of the biggest realizations I had was also that even the ways that we interact with colonialism or how we might react to it is also very empowering and powerful, in that even though this is a Dutch import, it's actually still very much my own, because I get to decide what I do with it and how I look at it. And yeah, thank you everyone.